Well, that's another thing that just came to me just now. That they're buying up all these catalogs, and usually these catalogs is what an artist would have to feed their next generation or to give their next generation. So what happens when that's removed? You know, what do you have to hand down or give to the next generation? What do you have? Some people may say, oh, they got a lot of money up front, but that comes down to, well, what exactly are they spending that money on?
Or what's that money even worth?
Yeah.
Because, the way inflation is, like, what's that money worth? You know what I mean? Like,
and if you trick that money off, that's it. If you don't put it into something that's going to have some real tangible value that you could hand down, then what'd you do it all for? What happens? What's your legacy? What happens to the culture? What happens to the next generation or the generation after that? These are just real, like, questions that, you kind of wonder, where are we going with this thing? What is the end goal?
I don't think there is. I think the end goal is to really destroy a community. That's what I think it is. I think it is to basically turn a community into a permanent underclass in their own country. I think that's what the goal is. The goal is to make sure that you can, no longer elevate yourself in a certain status, and you become the permanent underclass in your own country. I think that is really the goal. I think it's, as far as they're concerned, enough people has made it. We've made enough people rich. And now it's time to, close that gate. Because if you notice, every time there's something that makes us rich, all of a sudden it starts to disappear.
Right. But it's interesting. I don't even honestly, I don't really blame the actual artist that grows up in these environments, in these communities that's riddled with violence and, all of these things going on. I really blame all of these machines and all the things that's around taking advantage and exploiting it.
Can you do that exclusively? I think the machine exploits it, but we still have to make it.
Yeah, but let's look at it from the standpoint of, you have an artist young and is from an environment that is horrible. All right, this is all this person knows, because everyone has their story. We can't just assume that they know better or has it in them to do better at the moment. But they're in these environments and they're talking and rapping and singing about what's at their front door, what's around them. And that's what they're going to put out. Now, what's happening is, okay, they're telling their story. Fine. That's what's going on. Fine. But what we don't have is the other side. We don't have enough of the other things that's happening. We don't have enough positive stuff. We don't have enough other kinds of artists that's being promoted just as equally. If you have, and I'll steal it back, even back in the days, you had violence. You had, throw your guns in the air, and you had Straight Outta Compton. You had all sorts of rough records. I mean, Annie Up is a robbery record. Let's be honest.
Yeah,
a robbery record. You got Mobb Deep. You got like my favorite. You had raw raps. You have gangster raps. You had all of this stuff. The difference is that all the other records got promoted too. You got records from Mos Def. You got records from Common. You know what I'm saying? You got records from a variety of, you got records from Tribe. You got records from all over. So it didn't feel so one-sided. You didn't get this all day, every day algorithm, just this alone. You were able to get a nice assortment of different types of music. that reflected in everyone.
I think where we are now is that, to your point, like the stuff that we had prior has basically put us in a situation where everybody is writing from the same perspective because everybody's experiencing the same thing.
Well,
you can't have a difference in music because everyone is basically going through the same thing at the same time. You don't have a situation where you have enough positive experiences for people to write positive music. And I think that's by design. I think, it was all put there. We've created a ecosystem where it's basically, in a negative loop. So how can I expect people to write things that are absolutely uplifting if everything that they're going through is absolutely negative? It's and the ones that are going through positive things, they're not rapping. You know what I'm saying? It's like they're doing something else. So it's a cycle that we're seeing. Like we're seeing a blaxploitation film on repeat, basically. Like, it's like, where did people decide that they had to, wear the clothes that they wore and stuff like that? It's because of what they saw in the movies. They say art imitate life, but it was, art programming life.
yeah, but if one rapper is rapping like this and rapping this style and saying this, why should we get another rapper saying the same exact thing, the same exact way, on the same beat, with the same cadence and the same everything?
It's because that's what we like. It's familiar.
I don't know if it's
So familiarity, it's easy to consume. It's, I don't have to, it feels like something I've already loved.
Yeah, but let's look at it this way. Busta does not sound like Big. Big doesn't sound like Nas. Nas doesn't sound like,
You're going back too far. Like, that's the problem. Like, we're going back too far. We're going back, everybody we just named is 30 years in. It's too far back. That's the different standard. The standards for us now are not the same. The music industry had a standard that's what's missing. That there was a standard.
So what's the standard now? Because you raise a very good point.